Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining. We are the Product Success Team. I am Lex.
And I'm Rodney.
Today, we will be going over on how to keep the devices online. If you have any questions, please keep your questions related to the topic at hand. Please keep yourself muted during the presentation. However, if you have any immediate questions, you can ask your questions in the chat. We will be monitoring the chat as always. Otherwise, you can ask your questions verbally when we open up the floor for questioning. Just make sure you unmute yourself at that time. Why do we need our devices to remain active? Not all devices need to remain active. However, certain devices can be designated for important functions with Aldelo Express, and it is very important to take necessary steps are taken to ensure that those devices are active. And just to note, when we say active, we mean that the devices are connected to power, connected to internet. Aldelo Express is active application on the device, and the screen does not time out. One of those functions is auto batching. If your customers will be using auto batch feature, a specific device number will be designated as batch trigger device and batch trigger time must be set as well. This particular device does not necessarily have to be active throughout the day, but it must be active during the defined batch trigger time. We will not be able to demonstrate this today as a live merchant account would be required. The other option is to use print server device. This assigned device is primarily responsible for print jobs from hold orders and items. But if customers is also accepting online orders, whether it'll be Mesa Online, DoorDash, Uber Eats, the print server device is responsible for sending print jobs for other orders as well as handling and receiving them. If the print server device is not active, the online service will pause. Your customers and their customers will not be able to place orders until the print server device is once again active. So outside of making sure that these devices are connected to power, what can be done to ensure that these devices remain active? There are settings and tools for both iOS device and Android devices that can be used not only to keep your devices from going to sleep, but also prevent users from exiting the Aldelo Express application accidentally or without authorization. There may be some third-party application available to download, but we will only cover the features native to this device. The settings that we need to disable is sleep mode. On iOS, as simply as going into the settings, setting the auto lock to never. The setting that will need to be disabled is sleep mode. On iOS, it's as simple as going into settings and setting auto lock to never. On Android, depending on OS version of the build, you may be able to go into the display settings and disable the screen timeout. Some versions of Android does not have this option. In this case, developer mode will need to be activated in order to enable the stay awake feature. When this is enabled, the screen will never sleep while the device is connected to power. On iPad, you can enable guided access feature. This feature will prevent users from exiting the active application. A defined passcode is required to disable guided access. Guided access also provides options for setting a timer for how long guided access will be active, for blocking portions of the screen, and options to enable or disable keyboard and physical device buttons like volume and power buttons. For Android, there is a couple features similar to guided access. One is called screen pinning. Screen pinning keeps assigned applications active and required a combination touches of pressing and holding on the screen recent and back buttons to disable. Screen pinning disables both device buttons and on-screen buttons while active. The other is called interaction control. This feature also keeps active applications running and requires a physical button and touches to disable. Like guided access, interaction control provides options for setting a timer for how long the interaction control will be active, for blocking portions of the screen, and options to enable or disable keyboards and physical buttons. Both the screen pinning and interaction control have settings within the feature that will lock the device where the device pin will be required to unlock the Android device. It is recommended to have this feature on and to prevent unwanted use of Android devices to not provide the device pin to employees. Once you've enabled both auto batch trigger and print server into device, it is a good time to also enable guided access for iOS or interaction control or screen pinning for Android tablet. Whether you're using iPad, iOS, or Android tablet, enabling guided access or screen pinning or interaction control has its benefits. Best practices is to enable guided access. For iOS, this feature will lock the Aldelo Express application to the iPad, and no one can exit the Aldelo Express application without a passcode. To turn on guided access, you'll need to go to your iPad, go to Settings, General, Accessibilities, Guided Access. And then to turn on guided access, you'll want the application launched. You want to tap on the home button 3 times to engage guided access. From there, you want to enter in the passcode. To exit the software, you want to tap on the home button 3 times, and then you want to enter in the passcode. There is a version of guided access for Android tablet called screen pinning. The screen pinning feature will lock the Aldelo Express application onto the Android tablet, and no one can exit the application without pressing a combination of both the reset and back button at the same time. To go to the screen pinning, you'll need to launch Aldelo Express application. From there, you want to click on the 3 lines or the reset button on the lower left-hand corner. And then you want to click on the middle icon. In this case, it's going to be the Aldelo Express icon. And then from there, you'll see pin this app. From there, your device is now pinned and locked to Aldelo Express application. To exit screen pinning, you want to press the reset and back button at the same time. And then you want to enter in the passcode. And another feature for Android tablet, it's called interaction control. To go to interaction control, you'll need to go to settings, accessibilities, interaction and dexterity. Interaction control, you want to go ahead and enable that. You can define which actions will enable and disable the feature. You can choose one or the other or both combinations by pressing the volume up and volume down for 3 seconds, and also by pressing the side button and the volume up button. You can also note that there is no hold, just press at the same time.
All right, so I'll go ahead and take over here. I'll go and share my screen. All right, so you should see my screen here. Give me 1 second. All right, so from the cloud here, we're gonna go ahead and show you how to set up the device as a print server and also the device as a batch settlement device. So we're gonna go ahead and go into the settings, store config, receipt and ticket config. We're gonna go into the kitchen and bar ticket and the print options. So right now you see we don't have a print server device set up yet. We're gonna go ahead and click the drop down and we're gonna set device 29 as a print server. So we're gonna go ahead and also enable this setting here and scroll down and save. All right, so next we're gonna go into the financial config and integrated payments and set up our auto batch close trigger device. And we'll do the same device number. It can be any other device number, but both of these devices do have to be set up so that the screen does not time out and should be running the application at all times. So next we're going to go ahead and move over to our devices here. So you'll see we have two devices. One is an Android tablet on the left and the iPad on the right. The device on the left is the print server. So if I tap on these settings, you'll see device 29 there. And if I tap on the alerts, you'll see that this device is acting as the print server. And on the iPad, we tap on this alerts as well. Print server is on. So it is connected and recognizes that the print server is running. And as we saw earlier, I was able to set the print server device from the cloud. You can also do this from the application as long as platform orders are enabled. So if I go into platform orders, you're going to see there's a print server on. You can tap on that and you can choose or select a different print server device. And you can also do this from the other device. Tap on print server on and select any of the other options there. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go ahead and put the print server device to sleep. Then I will go into device 31 here. And it recognizes that the print server is now off. I will now wake up the print server device here. Now that it is back up and running, I'm going to check device 31. And it recognizes that the print server is back on. So now we'll go and exit the app and check device 31 again. And it will soon recognize that the print server is off. Then when I open up the application again, it recognizes that it's on. Now I'm going to go ahead and disable the Wi-Fi. So the app is running, but is not connected to the network. Then device 31 immediately recognizes that the print server is off there. Then I will go ahead and connect to the Wi-Fi again. And once it reconnects, device 31 recognizes that the print server is on. So this goes to show that the device should be running in order for the print server to work correctly, and also take in the orders that are coming in, especially online orders, in order for the orders to be accepted and send the print jobs to the necessary printers and KDS and whatnot. So next I'm going to go ahead and submit a Mesa online order. And once that order comes in, you will see there is a 1 by the 3 horizontal lines. So the order has been submitted. I'll go ahead and tap on the icon and into the alerts, and you'll see that the order has already been accepted. That is because the print server is on. Now I'll go ahead and disable the Wi-Fi and resubmit another order. And here you will also see, if I check on device 31, that the order has been received. So now that the print server device is disconnected from the Wi-Fi, I'm going to submit another order here. You'll see it did come in, but device 31 shows that it needs to be confirmed on device 29 because it is not connected. So I'm going to show you how the order looks in the Mesa app here. So tap on orders, and you'll see that the order is pending because it has not been received from the print server. And if I swipe up, you'll see the previous order had been confirmed because at the time the print server was on. So I'm going to go ahead and fast forward here because the order will expire a little later. Now I did receive a text message saying that the order had been voided out after the time expired. You'll see it does clear from the web orders there. So it is very important that the print server is running, especially if the customer is using DoorDash integration, the Grubhub integration, and Mesa Online. The print server does have to be running in order to confirm the orders there. Otherwise, the orders will void out and the customer will not get their order. I'm going to go ahead and show you next how to make sure your devices stay on and are able to receive the orders there. We're going to go ahead and start with the iPad here. We're going to go into the settings. What we want to do is disable screen timeout. So we're going to scroll up, look for display and brightness, and you're going to select the auto lock and set the value to never. That will keep the screen open and running. But you also want to make sure that no one exits out of the app. We're going to go to accessibility, and then we're going to swipe up. We're going to look for guided access. We want to make sure that is on. And you'll see that the instructions indicate that when you triple click the home button while you're in the app, it will enable the guided access. So we'll go ahead and show that next. We'll go ahead and open up Aldelo Express, and we'll tap the home button 3 times and select guided access. Once this is up, you can go ahead and hit start, and it will prompt for a passcode here. And this does not have to be the same passcode used to open up the iPad. So you'll see it started. Now we're in the application. And if I try to exit out by tapping on the home button, notify you that guided access is enabled. So you will not be able to exit out. I'm trying to swipe from the edges of the screen, and it will not exit. If I triple click the home button and I tap on guided access, it will prompt to enter the code again. So this is the code that we set previously, and I can end the guided access here. And after that, I should be able to exit out of the application. So next, we will be moving over to the Android device here. We'll go ahead and get into the settings here to see if we can turn off the screen timeout. We'll go to display, and you'll see that when we tap on screen timeout, there is no option to turn this off. Now, different versions of Android will allow you to disable the screen timeout, but in some cases, it will not have that option. We will have to turn on developer mode and go to About Tablet. Next, we will tap on software information. We're going to tap on build number 7 times. And you'll see it enables the developer mode. Now on the left-hand pane, once I swipe up, you'll see that the developer options pop up. We'll tap on that, and you'll see that there's a stay awake option. So this will stay awake once you enable this, as long as the device is plugged in and charging. All right, so we'll go ahead and exit out here. And what we're going to do next is enable a feature that's similar to the guided access with iPad, but a native feature on the Android. So we have Express open right now. You'll see that if I hit the home button, it will exit out the app. We'll open it back up again, hit the back button, it exits out. And if I hit the recents, I'm able to exit out as well. All right, so what we're going to do is enable some features here. So we're going to go into the settings. And we're going to swipe up. And we're going to look for accessibility. And there's a feature under interaction and dexterity. We're going to tap on interaction control. And then we're going to enable the interaction control shortcut. All right, now when we tap on that, you'll see that there are options to start the interaction control. You can press and hold the volume up and down buttons for 3 seconds. And you can also enable the press the side and volume up buttons. You can select both or one. Now there's also the lock screen when deactivated. What this does is once you deactivate the interaction control, it will lock the device. So if they wanted to prevent an employee from closing the application, they can enable this here. Key point is that only the managers or owners should have the PIN code to open up the device. Now we're going to go and swipe up and look for security and privacy. We're going to swipe up and look for other security settings. And then swipe up again and look for PIN app. Now you can toggle the PIN app to turn it on, or you can tap on PIN app and you can enable it from here. Then you can also turn on the ask for PIN before unpinning. This does the same feature with interaction control, where once they unpin the application, it will lock the device and we'll have to log back in there. So we're going to go ahead and exit out of the settings here. And we're going to open up the application. You'll see if I swipe down from the top of the screen, it will pull up notifications. I'm going to go ahead and enable the interact control. So I'm going to press down the volume up and down buttons for 3 seconds here. And it will pull up the interaction control options. You don't want to block the screen unless it's needed. So you can tap on the X on that box there to remove it, and then hit done. And you'll see interaction control activated. So now if I try to swipe from the top of the screen, it would not let me. I can access the application and work throughout the application, but I cannot exit out. Now you'll see the navigation bar. If I tap on any of the buttons there, it will not exit out of the application. However, it does enable the taskbar, which is a little downfall there. You can disable that in the settings. So I'm going to go ahead and disable. I will press the side and volume up buttons. Like I said, it's not a hold. And then it will exit out. And I'll have to log back in here. Now the screen blanks out because for security, it doesn't show my PIN there. All right. So like I said, it does show the taskbar. I can disable this by going into the settings. I'll go into the display and turn off the taskbar here. Okay, so next we are going to go ahead and display the PIN app. So once we do, we tap on the recents. So we'll have to tap on the recents button. And in this view, you're going to actually tap on the app icon. So the Aldelo Express icon here. And will give us options. We're going to select pin this app. Now you'll see the app is pinned and it'll tell you how to get out of it. So I cannot get out by tapping on the home button, the back button, or the recents button. You'll see again, I'll have access to the settings. I can log into the application and have full access once again. I just will not be able to exit the app. Well, now we'll go ahead and press the recents and back button simultaneously. And again, it does lock the device. I'll have to enter my code to get back in. And the app is unpinned. I'll be able to exit out. That's how you can keep the devices from both going to sleep and from anyone exiting out of the app unnecessarily. So do we have any questions?